I'm so glad you say record, because I do that too. And I remember I was talking to someone recently, and they were like, "Oh, when's your next CD coming out?" And I was like, "Just don't even talk to me if you're gonna talk like that."
I know people. I have like a couple friends that make fun of me for it, but yeah, it's just that's like what it is to me. It's a record, right?
It's authentic. It's authentic. You want to know why? There's still fucking junk on this album, dude. There's junk.
You're wrong. There is no junk.
Yellow Submarine.
You haven't been high enough to appreciate that song. Okay? That's the problem here.
Here's my problem with the song. Not even with the song. It doesn't belong with the other songs. You know what I will say is Good Day Sunshine has too much of a No, I get it. It's a good break, but it doesn't flow. You know what I mean? It's well, because like back then the beat. I don't even know why we're having this conversation right now. We should just do this when he's on.
No, this is important.
No, we'll repeat all this stuff because we like to argue. I want to argue when it's live.
No, bring him in. Let's continue the argument. Reilly, what is up, man? How are you doing? What's been happening, and what is good?
I'm good, man. I'm hanging in there. Crazy times.
Yeah. All three questions.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm doing as well as I can be. You know.
Are you working?
No, I got laid off a couple weeks ago. So.
Same thing. Well, I guess I'm furloughed.
Yeah.
Are you furloughed or just completely laid off?
Well, my job, we do like school supplies. Like I work for like a warehouse that like distributes school supplies and stuff to schools. So everything's closed. So yeah, there's like no work right now. Sucks.
Gotcha.
My boss was just like, "Yeah, just don't come in tomorrow." I'm like,
yeah,
man, what's going on? Nothing.
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
Yeah, I work in a warehouse, so
yeah,
nothing for me to do. Because it's like dental supplies and there's no dentist labs open or whatever. So,
Reilly, what's your stance on sprouted almonds? A lot of people don't get the sprouted.
I'm not for them.
You're not for sprouted?
No.
Any particular reason why?
I don't know. It just doesn't get me excited.
Do you have a problem with assorted nuts being more easily digestible? Because that's what you get when you get sprouted, buddy. Sprouted.
Is that what happens? I didn't know that.
I believe when they're sprouted, the enzymes have been activated and they're much more easily to digest. So
maybe I'll revisit.
Yeah,
we're gonna have part two. Part 2 is gonna be all about almonds.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I'll try them and then we'll do this again.
Before we jump into Rupert's selection, because I listened to every single thing you guys released.
Oh, thanks, man.
Well, several times actually. I'm a fan.
Cool.
But today I revisited everything just because I wanted to be have it refreshed and everything. But before we do, we try to do like a record of the day type thing, and we went with Revolver by the Beatles, which I have on vinyl.
Awesome.
Which I don't listen to on vinyl. Yeah, the cover's wild, man.
So cool.
You know what I realized? I realized that on Rubber Soul, John's looking at the camera and everyone else is looking away, but for some reason here it's George. I never realized that until today.
George's the MVP, man. He's good enough praise.
Yeah, he's the hidden secret, maybe. Especially in the later years. The later years, he was just a powerhouse.
Reilly, do you have?
But I thought we could maybe discuss this album.
Do you have a favorite Beatle?
Oh, sorry. What was that?
Do you have a favorite Beatle?
I mean, I'm a Paul guy.
Okay,
you know,
Paul's definitely a good choice.
I love Paul so much, but George is also like I love George. I don't know those two.
Okay.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. But if I had to pick, I would say Paul. Yeah.
So Derek and I always have these arguments about Revolver, and I kind of go back and forth. We always have this debate of what is the best Beatle album, which is
let's back up a little bit. Number one, we'll say that I'm one of the biggest Beatles fans I know. I grew up on them. They're like embedded into my blood. I started playing anything musical because of the Beatles. Like they were the ones. So I'm so infatuated with all their albums. So let's just get that out of the way first. And I'm kind of a crazy Beatles guy. So. And I got Steve into the Beatles years ago.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we have arguments about this album because Steve always says it's their best. And I disagree, but I only disagree because there's always albums where I feel like some songs can be cut.
Right.
I know back then, like especially in the mid '60s, like everything the Beatles were putting out had to be like 14 songs. It always had to be 14. The record company's like 14, 14. And this for me personally, I think Yellow Submarine can be cut off this album. I don't dislike the song. I just think that it doesn't belong with the other songs. That's just my opinion.
It's definitely like sticks out for sure on that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I disagree. I joked about this earlier about with Derek. I was joking around with him. I was like, listen, you've just never been high enough to appreciate Yellow Submarine.
I mean, I love that song. I love that song for sure.
I like. You know what? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Oh, just like the flow of the album. Like I think it kind of just it. I do get what he's saying. Like it does kind of throw the flow off a little bit. Like, but it's a great song. Like I love that song.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just like, think about like the songs that are the sandwich between, it's like Here, There, and Everywhere is a song right before that. It's like an amazing Paul song, beautiful ballad, beautiful chord changes. And it goes into In the Time. It's just like, ugh. And then after that, it goes into arguably, well, this is my favorite Beatles song of all time. She Said, She Said. This is my favorite.
Oh, so good. Yeah.
And like the Yellow Submarine's right before that, like, it just aggravates me. I know it's like they had to have Ringo sing a song, but like this one just seemed like, same thing with I love Paul too. I'm a huge Paul fan, but another one I might cut is Good Day Sunshine. I like it, but it's just too like, I love the song. I love the ending especially, but it's so bouncy. It's so bouncy.
It's so good.
It's like, I need to laugh. It's just so like joyful. And I feel like this album is like really mellow. I'm Only Sleeping, things like that. I don't know. There's some duds on this one, in my opinion. I don't know. Dr. Robert's okay.
I love that song.
I do too. See, that's the thing. I love it. But as a crazy Beatles fan, I can actually be like, well,
Yeah.
Dr. Robert might be the best song of any small band,
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, they've written such amazing songs, so it's hard to – that's fair. But I don't know. Dr. Robert, She Said, those two are, like, my favorite songs.
I didn't even know that. Okay, so Dr. Robert. Yeah. Okay, so I apologize for putting that one down then.
There's no right answer or wrong answer.
There's one on Revolver that I love. The other day, my wife and I was like, I want you to think of Revolver and put all the songs in order from your favorite to your least favorite, all 14. And I was surprised that the song I Want to Tell You, it's a George song, that was like really high on my list. I think that's like a secret song that nobody ever gives credit to, but I think it just puts me in another place. It's very dreamy.
Yeah.
But, that's just me.
It's crazy because the album before Revolver was Rubber Soul, right?
Yeah, and so do they sound completely different to you, Steve?
To me, they sound worlds different.
Okay, so funny you say that because when George was interviewed in 1995 for the Beatles anthology, he had forgotten so much that he was like, yeah, I think they could have been like, Rubber Soul and Revolver could have been like side A, side B. They seem very similar. Apparently he didn't remember that well because Rubber Soul is very folky, very like Dylan, right. Bob Dylan, and then Revolver is like psychedelic and going kind of like,
let's talk about throwaway songs. On Rubber Soul, I think for me, there's way more throwaway songs on Rubber Soul than there is on Revolver. Especially towards the end, there are some amazing songs on Rubber Soul for sure, but towards the end of the album, I think you get what was that one? Run for Your Life or something like that.
I mean, even Lennon said he hated that song.
Yeah,
that's probably listen to that one.
Yeah, towards the end, it's like I skip songs at the end of Rubber Soul, but obviously Norwegian Wood, Nowhere Man.
Did you say you skipped Norwegian Wood?
No, I skip songs, but Norwegian Wood, Nowhere Man, Michelle, all the hits.
Wait, you went from Norwegian Wood to Nowhere Man. You skipped a song. You Won't See Me is one of the best in that whole album.
Well, whatever.
Oh,
that's an amazing song as well. I didn't mean to skip that, but
no, you skipped it and you did it on purpose.
No, I didn't. So,
but anyways, yeah. So I don't even know what this review is. All I know is Revolver is one of the greatest albums of all time, in my opinion. It's amazing. I got so many smudge marks all over this cover. I'm really upset about that, but.
The only contender for me is Sgt. Pepper's, and that I always go back to.
See, that's another thing. Like Pepper is great, but how can you say Pepper's better than like the collection of songs on Magical Mystery Tour? Even though that wasn't really an album, it was only supposed to be an EP. Just saying.
Oh, it's so good. I love that one.
Because before Pepper, they did Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane, and they were supposed to be on Pepper, but they weren't. and they ended up putting them on Magical Mystery Tour
If
instead.
that was the
movie.
case, that would definitely make it the all-time best album.
Yeah, I don't know if those songs were on there, maybe. But anyways, we're going too far into this. I wanted to talk about the Rupert selection because
Absolutely.
you guys are freaking awesome.
Thanks.
One of the tightest bands I've ever heard live.
Yeah, you guys
For
rock.
starters,
Cool.
the first time I saw you guys, we actually played on the same stage. We did this Battle of Bands thing
Right.
in like 2016, and it was literally, I think it might have been like my first time playing with a band on stage. Like that night was my first time.
Yeah.
Everything else before that was solo and stuff. My hands and my legs were ice cold. I was freezing, just so nervous playing up there. And I think at the time it was just me. It was me on rhythm guitar, Steve on bass, and his brother Lenny was on drums. We didn't even have a lead guitar player because I just play rhythm. So we were just really focusing on like the bass to carry through, and we realized after a while that we needed a lead guitar player.
Where was that one? Where was this show?
Spotlight Tavern. May they rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. Damn shame that place is closed. If I was rich, I'd buy these places and revive them. You know? I was like, where are all these rich people, man? Get the rich people to buy this stuff and keep it going.
Yeah.
Hell,
Well, Spotlight's like a new restaurant now. It's like Greg's Tavern or something. It's really weird.
I'm sure they don't even have a stage anymore. Bastard.
No, they don't. Yeah, it's like a sports bar.
God, like another sports bar? Come on, we don't need any more sports bars, man.
And then I just read that the Great Scott's gone.
Oh,
yeah,
gonna be.
Oh, have you guys played at the Great Scott, Reilly?
Dude, I've never played there. I'm so pissed. Like that was the one place I really wanted to play it. But
yeah, you guys would have killed in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we had a couple opportunities, like, and just things just fell through at the last minute. I don't know, like we just never worked out. But yeah, I wish. Did you guys play there?
We did once. Yeah, we got booked on like a Wednesday night, and it was just it was just we're from like the North Shore, like Saugus,
right,
that kind. So we just couldn't bring anybody, and it sucked. But we ended up meeting our I think we met our drummer. Our drummer now, we have a new drummer now. We met him that night because he was in another band at the time. So I guess it was good for one thing. But I know how important that place is. So
yeah, like I saw a bunch of shows there. I loved going there. It was awesome, but that's just such a bummer. Yeah.
It's like
for sure,
man. It's all these clubs are closing down. It sucks. It's like
I know.
Eventually, everything is just gonna be either McDonald's, Walmart, or a sports bar or a condominiums. It's just gonna all be the same.
Yeah, especially people are always like, oh, there is no Boston music scene anymore. I'm like, whatever was left of the Boston music scene, like all these like pivotal places are closing, so it's even harder now to create a cool scene.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with the Middle East now. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, Middle East. You said the Middle East is closing?
So I read something about that months ago. I don't know what's going on with them. Maybe new ownership. I think maybe new ownership or something.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I heard it was going to get sold like a really long time ago, but I don't know. I keep hearing that it's going to go under, but it's still there. So.
But yeah, man. I don't know if I'm sure you've thought of this before. It's like we're talking about the music scene in Boston. It's like all these clubs closing down. What does that say about the future of the music scene? Where is this all going? And it's a damn shame, man. It's like, I don't know. It's like, where do you play at some point, unless you're like, like a wedding band or something.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's also tough in general to have a band that just does originals for the most part. Like, I mean, let's face it, tribute bands are probably like the most. I don't know. They get the most traffic at shows. And then the cover bands, and then the local bands who do originals. And so I knew right off the bat we were going to start writing songs and just do that. And I was like, this is going to be a fucking tough journey, but I kind of want to see what happens. So
for an original band though, you guys are freaking crushing it. It's hard to be an original band. You guys are absolutely crushing it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was hard.
Are you guys still? You guys, I remember seeing I remember you guys were a 3-piece band for a while. And now did you add some members? Reilly?
Nope, Reilly, you still there? Ooh, we do not have Reilly. Reilly, might have to invite him again.
Well, he has the link. He doesn't. I don't think he can put the link again.
Okay.
We're just getting into the juicy stuff.
I know. We're just getting into the juicy stuff. We're just getting juicy, like a medium rare cheeseburger. Really
medium rare is always the way to go.
Not with ground beef though. You don't want.
What do you mean?
You don't want to do that with ground chuck.
What?
medium rare with hamburger is more dangerous than steak. You know why?
I don't care.
Ground chuck has been exposed to the air more. Steak hasn't. It's been insulated into the cow's thigh, whatever part you're eating.
I think I'm gonna call bullshit on that just because medium rare tastes delicious. That's why I'm gonna.
No,
say
they
bullshit.
say this dangerous, but we ate basically raw ground meat that one time with Alex. We're still alive.
Yeah, it took me like I have the thickest fucking chicken breasts that I cooked tonight for like as chicken cutlets. It took me so long to get those things fucking cooked in the middle. They were just raw in the middle. Like
Yeah,
I breaded them.
They weren't.
They're just so. Oh my god! I gotta find a YouTube video on how to cut chicken properly.
This is what you do. You get your chicken breast and you cut the breast lengthwise in half.
Yeah, I know, but it's difficult. Like, you know what I mean? It's not easy to do that.
Why is it not easy to do? It sounds really.
Have you done it?
I give me a knife and a chicken cutlet right now. I'll fucking slice it in half with
no. You won't do. You won't do fucking shit.
Here's your problem. You don't have the right knives for the job.
No, I have the right knives.
No, if you had a Ginsu knife, if you had a Ginsu, you would be fine. You'd be slicing breasts and eating fucking breadcrumbs until fucking Johannesburg Wallace came home for fucking dinner.
Johannesburg Wallace?
Absolutely. My cousin.
Well, you showed me.
That's right. You know.
So anyways, so the first EP, we just keep going, he's not there. I'm like, so what'd you think about that?
The silent treatment. Got it. Well, does Gia want to be a guest?
I asked her questions about the Rupert Selection album.
Like Gia, newest album, really cool stuff. What was the inspiration?
Let me message him. Did you get booted?
He's like, no.
He's like, I can hear you talking shit right now.
He's like, I can hear everything, you assholes.
Shit, they didn't even go through. Fuck, I don't know. Maybe something happened to his phone. Maybe his phone restarted or some shit.
Maybe he was murdered. Can't discount that. Maybe he just got murdered and we're not doing anything about it. So Gia, where is
I'm like
today's sponsor is also Snapple. Yeah.
Right. He's like right.
So Snapple, what was it like transitioning from glass to plastic? Was it traumatic, or did you welcome the change?
Well, to be honest, Steve, as a peach Snapple, not a lemon, as a peach, I like the transition because when I'm dropped, I'm still in the container. The glass breaks, but the plastic keeps me from fucking dying.
That's good.
What's that? I gotta go, guys. Make my rides here.
Okay, that was Johnny Snapple. Thank you, Johnny.
He's kind of a dick.
Yeah, he's a dick. You can't get him in the door without paying him. He's kind of an asshole.
This is the first time I've ever had a guest just completely drop out and say, "Fuck this shit."
Maybe his house exploded.
But why would that affect his phone?
Well, on account of the flames. You know, the shockwave and the flames just bursting. Yeah, maybe we should have talked about Rupert Selection instead of the Beatles so we could have more content. Like, here's Reilly with 10 minutes of Beatles session, about 2 minutes of the Rupert Selection. Are you frozen? You fucking frozen.
Dude, you haven't seen anything yet. All you've seen is The Witch. You got to see fucking Hereditary. You got to see The Lighthouse. You got to see Midsommar.
The Witch is enough for a lifetime.
Oh my God, you're such a little fucking bitch.
What the fuck did you call me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bitch.
I called you a witch.
That's what I thought.
No, you got to see those movies. They'll fuck you up.
How long have we been on this rock? So I can act.
You haven't even seen it.
I've seen the trailer. That's enough.
Oh, okay.
What could that movie possibly be about? Shoveling, like digging trenches awkwardly.
Dude, that's the thing. You got to watch it because it's just it's a mind fuck.
But how is it a mind fuck? Explain to me in detail.
So if you and I were stuck on a fucking rock with a fucking lighthouse for fucking weeks, fucking months, you and I would go insane.
No,
You would go, especially these two guys don't know each other. So this guy
Right.
works for Willem Dafoe.
Holy shit.
Huh?
No, I said
What'd
right.
you say?
I said holy
Oh, at
shit.
least said Reilly. I thought Reilly was back. It's like, and at first things are okay, like, but there's weird shit going down, like, and then all of a sudden, like, the guy sees a fucking like mermaid and shit, and like it's just weird shit. And then he's like, I didn't just see that, type shit. And then he's like, and then Willem Dafoe keeps going up to the lighthouse, the very, very top, and locking the doors. He's like, what the fuck is he doing up there? Why does he go there every night and I'm not allowed to
I might
go?
watch it tonight.
At one point, he's like on the steps. He looks up and he sees a fucking tentacle. Like, it's some weird shit, and you're like, where the fuck's this movie going? And it go. I wouldn't even watch The Lighthouse yet. I would actually watch them in order the way they were released, because Hereditary and Midsummer. Actually, you know what? If you've seen The Witch, you can watch The Lighthouse, because that's the same director. He's only done 2 movies, The Witch and The Lighthouse.
Is The Lighthouse as disturbing and fucked up as The Witch?
It's disturbing in a different way, because The Witch is a little bit more. Even though it's a slow burn, the end of The Witch is like the big payoff. Like, oh fuck. The Lighthouse is like, why am I so fucking disturbed with this movie? It's just the way. Oh, he said his phone died. My bad. He's gonna come back.
Oh, cool.
But I'm gonna bring these movies up again because his EPs remind me they could be like in A24 movies.
There he is. Speak of the devil. Oh baby, he's back.
Hey, sorry, man. My phone died.
We assumed the worst. We assumed the worst. We were getting worried.
Yeah, he was like, what if his house exploded? I'm like, how would that affect his phone though?
Like,
No, I'm still alive. But I'm sorry about that. But you were saying about original music.
Oh, so
we're on
last
new
thing I said
topic
was,
now. We're on new
yeah,
topic.
we were on to movies, but we'll go back. So when I first saw you guys, you were a 3-piece band, and I thought you guys were amazing. One of the best 3-piece bands I've ever seen. I've said this in this podcast like 25 times, because we have a lot of 3-piece bands for some reason. But I love 3-piece bands. For me, it's like growing up with the Beatles, like they had a rhythm guitar player and a lead guitar player. So I was like, guitar players by themselves, they have so much more room to just be like, I don't know, it's just so much more to do. And I've always been super impressed by guitar players who are just on their own.
Yeah.
So
thanks, man. Yeah, it's like a lot of pressure, kind of sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's like looking at you to like do something cool, or I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's funny because Rupert was always supposed to be a 4-piece, like from the beginning. Like Peter Crofton, who plays guitar now, but he played bass like the whole time live. But on all the records and everything we recorded, like he plays guitar and like.
Oh, okay.
And we've been like in bands like all throughout like middle school and high school together, like, and we've always been 2 guitars, bass and drums. And like this band, we just like couldn't find a bass player. And like I had this song written with Zach, who was our drummer at the time, and our original drummer, and he just like was like, I'll just play bass until we find someone. And then we just never found anyone.
Right.
For a long time. now we did, thankfully, but
that's like the classic story, like Pink Floyd, the Beatles, like we need a bass player, so the guitar player becomes the bass player, but still can play guitar really well.
Yeah, and it's funny, like people would always be like bass players would like call them out, like true bass players would be like, dude, you're definitely a guitar player playing bass. Like, are you actually a bass player or are you a guitarist?
You could have fooled me, man. I mean, I'm not a bass player, so I can't, but I'm sure even Steve, like I thought he was freaking great at bass.
Yeah,
he's awesome, but just like how he plays it, it's like,
hey, this bass comes right off.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're 3-piece now. Now you guys are a 4-piece.
Yeah, we're 4-piece now. Yeah, Zach is no longer with us, but he's still like very much part of like the Rupert. He's always going to be in the Rupert selection. He just like isn't playing in the band right now. But but yeah, Peter Bartosh, our new drummer, he's been in for 2 years almost, and he's awesome. And then we have Sam Bouvet on bass, and yeah, he's in a bunch of bands. He's in Junior Beef. They're another great band from North Shore. And
I saw that name a couple times. Yeah.
And he joined last February with us. But
nice.
That's been great. And now Pete's on guitar, so it's been really fun.
Yeah, that's really cool now. So yeah, I listened to all your stuff in order today because that's just how I am. I have to do things how they were released. So the first one I listened to was Baseball Practice. Was that the first EP?
Yeah, Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, so the first question I have is, what's with the name? Because I was like, there's definitely another meaning behind this EP name.
Yeah. Well, we made an album actually in 2011 that it was on Bandcamp for a while, but we took it off. It's like it's no longer in circulation or whatever. But there was a song in that where like we had this really weird track, and Zach, our drummer at the time, just kept saying this phrase like it's like baseball practice. I don't know. He just kept saying it, and like it was really funny. And like we would like just joke about like describing our sound and being like, oh well, it's like baseball practice. Like it doesn't make any sense, but just it's one of those things that we just like had a weird inside joke with. And we just thought it'd be funny to like have our first official EP with a name like that and like a really abstract cover and like just
because yeah, you're right, it is abstract. So I was like, how does baseball practice relate to this album cover?
Yeah.
And I thought it was so clever too, because even if it was unintentional or if it was intentional, you still there? Oh,
Yeah.
I lost you for a second. Okay. So I was like, I love when albums do that, or EPs or whatever, when like you have to think about it, like really think like, what did they mean by this? And
Right.
it's funny, like you're like, oh, that was just a phrase somebody coined, but like I was digging deep, like what if it's all about like life's all about practice and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, there's no deep meaning to it, unfortunately. And maybe there is. I shouldn't say that.
It could
Yeah,
be to
there
some
is.
other people, yeah. It could be a different meaning, but dude, right off the bat, dude, fucking Tree Hands, dude.
Yeah.
Right, if someone says, hey, Rupert Selection, what are they? I just say, fucking listen to Tree Hands right now. That song is like, I wrote, this is the notes I wrote. It sounds like it could be in a movie soundtrack, like for sure.
Cool.
I love the swelling of the sounds.
Yeah.
Everything just goes in and out. And like you play, I'm assuming, did you play guitar on this, or was that Peter?
Yeah. I did all the. Actually, on baseball practice, I did all the guitars in that one.
Okay, I had you in mind. I figured it was you. So I was like, you play a lot of nerve-wracking notes that are kind of nerve-wracking, and then they go into like this little bit of a positive feeling, like like some major notes after that, and it's just a really cool. I can't even explain what I'm talking about, but just a mesh of like nerve-wracking stuff and then positivity, like a little bit after that. And the first thing I thought of is, I hope you've seen these movies. Have you ever seen any A24 movies? The Witch, Hereditary, Midsummer, The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
I feel
so
like
good.
Dude, because I'm a huge. The last couple of days, I've been binge watching those movies, and I thought of you. Like as soon as I heard that song, I was like, oh, this could have been in like Midsummer or Hereditary or something.
Yeah.
Oh man. So
cool.
Yeah. Tree Hands, man. I'm all about Tree Hands.
Yeah, it's creepy.
It is creepy, and that's what I like about it.
Drones, man, just drones.
Right.
It's such a good drone. It's like, oh, dude, this is fucking cool. It's definitely,
yeah, that was a fun one. A lot of that too was Alex Allenson too. Like he was a big part of that one. Who you guys
Yeah, he's so talented. Yeah.
You mentioned something about 2011. This was out, but I thought this was recorded in.
Oh yeah, no. So we had this album called Conspiratorium. It was like a full length album. It's like 5 or 6 tracks, and it's like 60 minutes long. It's like every song's like 10 minutes. I'll send it to you guys when you're right. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Was that still under the Rupert Selection name?
What's that?
Was that still under the Rupert Selection name at the time? You guys were still, wow, okay, so it's an old band.
That was like our first release, and then we like took it offline and like kind of like it's like we just pretend it doesn't exist really. But
I would like to hear that for sure. That'd be really cool.
If you want to hear it, I'll send it. But,
definitely. But with baseball practice, I think I thought we were recording our first EP with Alex at the same time you guys were recording baseball practice. I could be getting this wrong.
2017, yeah, we did it 2017. I don't know if it was in April when we did it.
Yeah, we did baseball practice in 2016, and then it came out.
Oh, 2016, okay.
Yeah, so was about the same, roughly? Maybe you guys were just finishing as we were starting our EP.
Yeah, I think so.
Alex gave us a little taste of one of your raw guitar tracks.
Yeah, I remember that. He showed us a little bit, yeah.
So sick.
Awesome.
On those studio monitors, it was like,
dude, I know, it sounds so epic on those monitors. It's like
I wish that was my bedroom. Like I just wake up to that and just like press play and anything I want.
Right.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, everything sounds good in that.
Oh yeah, such a sick setup. Yeah, I remember that specifically. The track off baseball. I was like one of your rock guitar tracks. It was just crisp. It was crisp.
Awesome.
And what made me think about like, what does this mean, baseball practice? I said I heard the track baseball practice, and it's so fucking trippy. And I was like, okay, this definitely has a back. Like it's like a deep meaning that I haven't discovered yet.
Yeah,
but
it's just like an inside joke we've had for a long time.
Yeah,
and
that's
it
awesome.
just doesn't really make sense. Yeah, it's funny.
But I'm sorry,
okay.
real quick, the cover though, the actual cover.
Yeah.
It's like an exploding triangle.
What am
awesome.
I looking at? What,
dude? So
am I looking at?
yeah, that's
So
our
bizarre.
friend. Yeah, I love that image. Like, it's funny. Some people like are like think it's like the worst cover ever, and some people think it's like the best cover ever. But I was like, that's awesome. That's like what we want. Like,
that's what's cool about it. Yeah. You're like, what the hell am I looking?
Yeah, like you feel something when you look at it.
You're right.
Yeah,
that's so cool. That's
even if it's a negative feeling you get, it still makes people think, and I think that's important.
Exactly. That's like if you make a song or something, and someone says that sucks, it's still like cool because it's like, wow, you like felt something enough to tell me that or feel that.
Yeah. Or like I like to go to the Museum of Fine Arts at least once a year. I try to anyway, and there are paintings that I'm like, oh, I don't like that, but I can't deny that it's painted beautifully.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if it makes me, you know what I mean? But yeah, the artwork and all of your stuff is just, so they're all, is it all the same artist that you work with the whole time, or is it
No, so baseball practice was our friend Jazz Davis, and we actually went to high school with him. He was like a grade or two below us, and just super awesome person. And he went on to like be Skrillex's like personal photographer and like toured with Skrillex, and like now he's like living in California and just like killing it, doing all this awesome stuff. And
nice.
We like reconnected with him. Like we ran into him a couple years ago, or before that came out. And then Peter, who plays in Rupert, he kind of stayed in touch with them, and he was like, "Yeah, if you ever want to use any of my stuff or like your artwork, feel free." And so we just went through it, and that picture like just like stuck out to me.
Right.
And yeah, he was like, "Yeah, go for it." So we just used that one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then our next, yeah.
Look ahead.
Oh no, I was saying, and then the next EP we put out, Modern Playground Medicine, and then our album Priors. That's both by Slime Sunday, who's also a friend of ours. He lives in Salem, but yeah.
Oh, you said Modern Playground Medicine?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. I know that one probably besides baseball practice. I know that one. Those two are the best. And I was gonna mention that cover. That cover I think is
yeah.
I'm looking at
That's Mike Slime Sunday. He's amazing.
Kind of reminds me of like 2001: A Space Odyssey a little bit.
Totally.
Cave dwelling or something. It's so freaking cool. It just gets your
that freaking track too, man. Like the track of Modern Playground Medicine. Like I loved when the vocal melody came in, and it kind of like matched the instrumentation where it kind of like went down. I don't know. It was just so cool, and I liked how it matched. I don't know. It's just perfect. And then there was like cool voices in the middle of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's like every song of yours is like its own movie or something.
Like,
dude, thanks, man. Yeah, that song's my favorite song I think we've ever done. Modern Playground Medicine. Just like, I don't know. It's so, I don't know. And like I had the least to do with that one too, and I think it's my favorite. But and that's speaking to in the middle, that like weird talking when everything kind of drops out. That's Jack Nicholson, and that's from, actually I hope I'm not. No one cares. It's not really Jack Nicholson, but there's this tape called The White Elephant, and it's like a children's book from the 80s or something, and he narrates it. And Pete and I were recording that song in his parents' attic, and his like mom had a bunch of tapes up there, and we like found that, and we just listened to it, and it was so creepy. And then we recorded that and like put that in the song. Like that's that voice. Oh. It's like we kind of like put some effects on it and stuff to make it hard to hear, but
that's my favorite type of story, when people are like, yeah, we're recording and we just found something in the room and we used it. Like that's the coolest.
Like we're listening to it, like, this is so creepy, we have to use this for something. Like
yeah, for sure.
I love learning about those details about albums too, because like how would, unless someone asked you directly, like how would even someone know that? So it's cool. It's like little Easter eggs in the album.
Yeah, like if you guys check out The White Elephant. I think it's probably on YouTube, and like Jack Nicholson narrating it. It's so creepy. Yeah,
dude. I was gonna say like another song that I listened to. Obviously, I listened to the whole thing with Pennies in the Desert. The one phrase I got from that song was, "Holy shit, these guys spend so much time in the studio perfecting things." Like it just seemed like I said before, every song felt like its own entity, its own like movie almost. And like, is it tough to replicate those type of songs on stage, or do you gotta just do what you can?
Yeah, we just do what we can. Yeah. That's the one thing that was really frustrating being a trio, because like, especially after Modern Playground Medicine came out, because it's like there's so many layers to all those songs, and like being one guitar player, it was just like in my head, it just wasn't where it should be, you know.
Right.
But like having Pete now on guitar and like filling it out, it's like so much bigger, and like we can play those songs now. It sounds like full, but it was kind of hard playing some of that stuff.
Right. Do you ever feel like, and this is kind of a random question, but do you ever feel like when you're on stage, you're like playing a character, or you're not Reilly anymore, or like you're just like a different part of you? Because like, I don't know, when I talk to you right now, it's like a different Reilly, it's a different person. Because when I see you on stage, like your vocals, by the way, are amazing. I love your vocals.
Man,
And it seems like a different side of you, which is amazing. Like, you know, because you're so unbelievably friendly outside and of playing. And when you're playing, you're so deep into what you're doing, and it seems like you developed like a you know what I mean? Like obviously everybody has a stage personality, but does that make sense to you? Or
totally, yeah, definitely. Like it's so cliche sounding and like I don't know, like egotistical or something, but yeah, I don't know. It just I get like into like this mindset. I don't know, just I feel the music, you know. I know it sounds weird,
like, no, I'm the same way. Only I feel like I'm much more of a jackass because I like put on this weird accent sometimes on stage. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? This is not a play.
Yeah, I mean, that's like what makes music great, you know. Like it takes you over, and you like, like I'll watch the videos too. Sometimes I'll be like, whoa, that's like not. It feels like I'm watching someone else, you know.
Yeah.
It's a cool element to introduce. Like Derek was saying, he kind of his version of a stage personality is like doing different accents, more like theater, bring a theater element. And I always bring up the band Fish a lot on this podcast, and like I heard the bass player Mike Gordon. He's describing him and Trey doing an interview years ago, and he was like the interviewer was like, oh, what kind of style are you guys? We're like, we're mixed between jazz, bossa nova, Broadway, salsa, and rock.
Broadway.
I remember him specifically saying Broadway. I'm like, that's such a cool thing because they do like ridiculous stuff on
right.
Stage, you know?
Those '90s interviews with them are so funny.
Oh, so like, you're a Fish fan, I assume.
I don't like to talk about it publicly. It ruins my rock cred or whatever. But
dude, whatever.
No, what cred? I don't have any rock cred anyway. But
yeah, right.
I always just joke about that when I talk about it. But like, yeah, I'm a pretty big fan. Yeah, I've seen them a couple times.
Trey's tone is, well, it depends on what you're talking about with Fish. It's like, are you talking about new Fish, which I don't even consider legitimate, or
no, it's pretty rough.
Complete garbage for the most part. I don't even care if they have a good set. My biggest gripe with Fish is everything past 2000, right? The tone.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a stickler with tone, but with Fish, I'm especially crazy about how their instruments sound. In the first when I first started listening to Fish, the reason why I like them so much is because how Trey's tone pre-2000, 97, 98, 96.
Dude.
Freaking unfreaking believe. He's got that Languedoc guitar, custom hollow body. He's got I think custom speaker cabinets.
Everything's customized. All his pedals are all custom. Like you can't buy anything he has. Like
it's ridiculous, and it's amazing how he turned that into a pile of garbage. It passed. Well, if you start listening to, especially Mike Gordon, he started when they did the hiatus. When he came back, he's like, "Yeah, I'm just doing the neck pickup from forever now." I'm like, "Dude, put both pickups on. It sounds too muddy." So, but I've noticed, and then Trey, he just had this sound. It's like too overdriven. He did, and it gets in it. And again, there's definitely exceptions to this shows and stuff, but I'm just speaking on tone specifically. And there's a pre-Fish that has the amazing tone, and then there's a post-Fish that has crappy tone. But I don't know if you
early 2000s is kind of rough. Yeah. But dude, I could talk all day about this stuff. I'm a huge fan as well. So
I'm not when it comes to guitar tone. Even when I first started playing bass, it just I literally got a job just to buy my rig I still have today. Because I'm like, dude, I'm sick of playing out of crappy amps. I'm sick of the guitar player blowing me out of the water because he's got a half stack and I got a crappy practice amp. So I got a job and I got this sick amp, which I still have today. So
awesome, dude. It makes such a difference.
Tone is everything. I don't know if you feel the same, but not everything, but it is so.
It's important. Yeah.
It's literally your voice on stage, and if that voice is not top notch, not accurate to what you're expressing on stage, you experience that on stage, like, oh, this is not sounding right. So to me, tone, fidelity, that's super important.
Yeah. And like that, the cool thing about them too is like when they like, it's Trey when you hear it,
Mm-hmm.
And like Mike too, like his bass tone is so like distinct, and like the way he plays with a pick, and like that was a huge influence on Pete. Like how Mike kind of plays his bass like a guitar, like when you listen to like their jams or when they're playing, like he's not just playing like typical bass lines holding in like he's like all over the place. Like he's like doing kind of like what a guitarist would do, in a way. It's like they're bouncing off each other. It's really cool.
There's a stigma amongst the bass community. It's like if you play with a pick, you've sold
I
out.
know. Like he got so much shit for that. Yeah.
Completely false. I think real bass players recognize that. Look at Mike Gordon. Like if you just listen to the studio album, Story of the Ghost, perfect representation of utilizing pick and fingerstyle. Because Mike Gordon, that to me, that's one of the grooviest, funkiest bass lines ever. Go listen to Story of the Ghost.
Oh yeah, for sure.
On that album.
MoMA Dance too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The first half of that record's funky. The second half isn't as funky. It's a little bit different. They go into like a different
honestly,
thing, I feel like.
That record is great, but like it starts off really strong and then it kind of does get a little like sleepy.
I agree. 100%. 100% I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Waiting in the Velvet Sea. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, that song, it really kills me, especially when they play it live. It's like, oh,
but to continue,
some people love it though.
Yeah, no, for sure, live. There's definitely some good versions, but with the Story of the Ghost track, the first track on the album, I was telling with bass players, perfect representation of utilizing pick and finger style. He does that flawlessly. He'll do the groove, the main groove, and then when it comes
so
to
tight,
then he has his bass solo, and it comes out of nowhere. It's just like bang, bang, bang. He just slaps the shit out of it.
Oh yeah, that slap part, right.
Oh my God, it's such a beautifully executed slap bass solo, and that's why Mike Gordon's is a huge influence on my playing growing up.
He's so good, man. Did you see the Sinclair shows he did last year? Or yeah, I think it was last year.
Oh no, I missed those. Did you go?
He did 3 shows. I went to one. I went to Saturday, but Trey came out on Sunday and like sat in with them for like a couple.
Yeah,
but it was just so cool seeing him like in that like a small place, and then seeing him like Fenway Park a couple months later. It's like whoa.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, right. That was I actually went to it. Did you go to it?
Oh no, that was before my time. I got into them in high school.
Yeah.
Like early high school. Like it's funny. Like Pete got me into Fish, and then I got super into them, and he kind of like stopped liking them. Like it's, and then all throughout high school I was like really got into them, and then when they reunited in 2009, I did the Fenway show, and then like the Greywood show. But,
I was fortunate enough to see them before.
That's so cool, man. You went to it?
First show, it was like me, my brother, some friends, and my aunt went to.
That's wild.
Saw them at I think Great Woods or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
It was oddly enough, it was September 11th, 2000. That was the show I went to. It was 1 year before that, but it was right before they broke up. So I was fortunate enough to see them pre.
Were you like 14 or something?
Yeah, I was young. I was like 15, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool though. You got to see that. I mean, that was kind of a rough era for them, but still, that's
I know
awesome.
Trey with the drugs and all that stuff. He was
yeah.
Fish 1.0, dude. That's like the best. No, but I was saying with it, the festival. I was walking, and all of a sudden, Mike Gordon just drives by on a golf cart with his camera. I was like,
yeah, I've seen the DVD, like the outtakes.
Fucking Mike Gordon with a golf cart. What the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, and like the DVD, he's like, there's all those outtakes where he's just driving around the grounds, like.
That's what he does, yeah.
Yeah, like I went to Magna Ball, and apparently, like I missed it, but he was like hanging out with people and just like going to people's campsites, just like hanging out, and like.
Imagine waking up, you just all hungover and shit. It's like, is it Mike Gordon?
Yeah, right. He's such a weird dude, but he's so cool.
He's very bizarre. Mike is.
He seems like he's really quirky or something.
Yeah, he's been doing like live streams on his Instagram, and it's really interesting just like hear him talk. He's just such like a fascinating.
He
guy.
did this thing called a couch tour. You see him on Instagram? He did this like thing called the couch tour. And like he just like pose on different couches across the country or something like that. This is
Oh, actually, yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
I'm stupid. And I think one time he was going to a show, and he had the tour bus bring him to some vegan restaurant in the city. The friggin'
Sure,
the
absolutely.
tour bus got stuck on a side alley, and these these two guys were going to the show. He's like, they're joking around, hey, you want to ride to the show? And Mike Gordon's like, actually, yeah, I need a ride. So they gave him a ride to the show. They took pictures of everything. Fucking hilarious.
That's so
That's
awesome.
so funny.
Yeah, there. And one more thing about Fish, I'll stop. The ranting. I know I'm
No,
ranting.
no, dude, I can talk about them all day.
I
don't know if anyone's listened, but
Right, I know. In 2003, Trey Anastasios' solo album, I think it's called Alive Again. I don't know if you're familiar.
is that was 2000? Yeah, was that Alive Again?
What is
Was it called Trey Anastasio? Was it just
Trey Band or something? No, 2002, I think it was. And he was doing a signing at Virgin Records when Virgin Records was a thing. So it was me and my brother again with some friends. We're in line. And
right?
to get in, so Trey was doing a signing, right? And
Oh, dude, I totally would have gone to that if I could.
to do this, though, you had to buy I was like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. You had to have a golden ticket or some shit to get
What?
meet his ass. And we went there like, we don't have this fucking golden ticket bullshit. We went there with no plan, and we're like, let's just try to get in. So we're just in line, and we're like, fuck, we don't have any. This kid behind us is like, you guys have bracelets? I'm like, no. I was like, do you? I was like, no. I was like, fuck. So we're thinking like, he's like, anyway, the kid behind us ended up being like an art major. So one of us devised a plan to go to the CVS, buy red construction paper, and he forged the Virgin Record logo on the bracelet, because that's all you needed apparently was this red.
Yeah.
We got construction paper. We had the kid draw it, and we just walking by the security guy was like, come on through. We just flashed. There you go. We fucking got in with construction paper. So we get
Bad security.
We're yeah, right. We're in. I'm in line, and all of a sudden I see Trey peek his head up to see how many people are left. We're at the tail end. We just made this fucking thing. So finally my turn. I was like, Trey, what's up, man? Good to meet you. It's like, hey, man, so just to let you know, I didn't have tickets. We all made our own bracelets to get in here. And I remember him saying to me, he's like, that's so freaking cool, man. I'm going to meet you again one day when you're a successful businessman. I'm like, oh, shit.
Whoa.
Oh, my God. I never forgot that. And I got his autograph and everything. So,
That's so cool.
yeah, he's Trey.
I don't even know that story. What the fuck? That's awesome.
Yeah, it was 2002. But he's such a cool guy. But he's the only one of Fish I've met. Trey. I just saw Mike drive by on a golf car. I didn't really meet him.
That's so cool. Yeah, I met Mike after a show. That album, The Green Sparrow, he made.
Oh, yeah.
He did like a release show at the Paradise. I think it was like 2008. It was like right before they reunited again, and like yeah, he was like signing. He would meet you if you bought his record after the show. So my friend and I bought his record and like
no way
got to talk to him, but he wouldn't let us take pictures. But I remember my friend was like a bass player, and he was like, "Hey man, can you give me some advice for like bass? Like I'm a huge fan." And he was just like, "I don't know, man. Just practice. Just like play."
Come on, Mike.
That was it. And we're like, "Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Right.
I can think of something better than that. God damn it."
But it was like the best answers. Like I don't know, dude. Just like play. Just keep playing.
What was he gonna say? It's all about the B string.
Right.
You know, like
he's like, people ignore the B string. Don't.
It was just such like a stupid question looking back. It's like, oh, we should ask him something else. But
yeah.
Like, yeah, he's a strange
awesome.
dude. His solo stuff, I remember what he did. I don't know if it was Green Sparrow or one of the other ones. I forget. I'll have to look it up. It was one of the Yarmouth Way. You know that one?
Oh yeah, Yarmouth Road, right?
Is that the name of the album, or is that what album is that off of?
That's off. Honestly, like I haven't listened to a lot of Mike's. Like I know the records, but I haven't like his solo stuff's like okay.
Well, that was one album. Yeah, right. That was one album. I definitely. If I like an album, I'll listen to it for weeks. Like
yeah, that one was. Is that the one with Ether? That song or Ether? Is it Ether or Ether?
Dude, I think so. Hold on, give me 2 seconds here.
Man, you got to know your album, Steve.
Oh, okay, Moss. It's called Moss.
Oh yeah.
See that? Oh,
yeah, we can't see that, man. We can't see that.
Background. Yeah, Can't Stand Still, Horizon Line, Fire from a Stick, What Things Seem, Babylon Baby, Flashback, The Void. The Void, I think that was a good song. Yeah, that's if you get a chance, man, check out the Moss.
Yeah, I gotta revisit that.
It's just the cover is just like a steering wheel in the clouds. That's fucking all it is.
Dude, the album he made, like it's like Inside Out or something. It's like the first one he put out. That's a really weird one.
Yeah, and he made like a film about that, right?
Yeah. There's a film. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or some of it is, I think.
Yeah, The Green Sparrow. Yeah, he's a filmmaker too. You know,
yeah.
but really weird guy, man.
Weird dude, and he's so small too. He's like tiny.
Really?
Yeah, when I met him, I was so surprised. Like I was taller than him. It was like, I mean,
No
yeah,
way.
he was like
No way.
5'2" or 5'3"
No
or something.
way. I don't believe it.
Yeah,
I thought he'd be like tall. He seems like a tall guy.
I know. Like they're all really short. Like Paige is tall, but everyone else is like really tiny.
You know what's funny? When I met Trey, he was sitting down, so I didn't get a chance to see how fucking tall that guy was.
He stood up and he was the same height as him sitting down.
Yeah. I met Fishman once, and Fishman's like literally like 5 feet. I think like.
You met really?
Yeah.
You say you met Fishman?
Yeah, my friend's band like opened for his side project band, like Touch Pants, I think they're called. Yeah.
He's short. Why are they all so short? Were they hobbits or something?
So were the Three
I don't know.
Stooges. They were all like 5 feet.
What?
I said the Three Stooges were all short too. They're all like 5 feet.
Something about short people. I don't know. Joe Rogan.
But anyways, Prior.
Joe Rogan's really short too.
Yeah, Priors, 2019.
Yeah.
Full the first full length.
Right.
What? So you did that with Alex, right?
Yeah. That was recorded.
Okay, I remember. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no. Yeah. That was recorded with him. Like that was over, like 2018 through 2019. Yeah.
I remember seeing you guys made like a trailer like while you guys were making it.
Yeah.
Is it something? I remember that was pretty funny. But there's so many good tracks in this one, man. One lyric that stood out to me was actually from the first song. It was I only do it because it feels good. For me, like I know a lot of people, like some people are either big lyric people or just big into like the melody and the music, and I'm big into both. Like I think you need to have a catchy song to begin with, and if the lyrics are good too, that's like the icing on top. But this had both, and I thought that like the lyric was just really honest. That makes sense. It just I understood like where you were coming from. You know what I mean? I think everyone can, but it was
totally
a really good lyric.
Thanks, man.
That was great. Yeah, I love the melody on "Above the Sky." That was. I think you guys put that as a single. Was that right?
Yeah. That was the first one we put out, and yeah, we were supposed to have the album out like a couple months after that, and then just life happened. Like we ended up lineup changes, and like that was a really hard record to make. But yeah, Above the Sky, that's one of my favorite ones off that one for sure.
I'm so glad you say record, because I do that too. And I remember I was talking to someone recently, and they were like, "Oh, when's your next CD coming out?" And I was like, "Just don't even talk to me if you're gonna talk like that."
I know people. I have like a couple friends that make fun of me for it, but yeah, it's just that's like what it is to me. It's a record, right?
It's authentic. Yeah, it's like, we're gonna make our next record. It feels like we're important.
Yeah.
That CD was really good. You guys released the CD.
Yeah, that sounds so warm, you know.
Oh, when someone says I'm having a CD release party, I'm like, I'm not gonna go to that. Yeah. Change the wording and I'll think about it.
Yeah, maybe
like
I'll come to your vinyl release party.
Exactly. It's a whole different ballgame.
Not happening.
Yeah.
Do you guys have vinyl copies of your stuff?
I was gonna say that.
No, that's one of my dreams is to like have something pressed. Hopefully, I mean now with everything going on, who knows when that will be a thing. But yeah, hopefully one day that'd be really cool.
If you do,
we're making our next record as we speak. It's all digital. Like basically, we recorded the drums and then the pandemic happened, so now everyone's just sending tracks to each other to finish.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous. But I told Steve earlier today, I was like, I don't care what it costs. I just want to get vinyl just once in my life. I don't care if I go bankrupt. I want to do it.
Same. Just like holding a CD is cool, but like holding a vinyl is like that's
good.
Yeah.
I do collect vinyl. Like I do new vinyl though. I'm not one of those guys that likes vintage vinyl. I like brand new albums.
Yeah.
I'm actually recently I'm doing this thing where I don't even open the record anymore. It's perfect.
Yeah, keep it shrink wrapped. Yeah, I like that.
In a perfect state, I can just admire it. I'm like, oh, I know that's just perfect, and I know it's gonna sound amazing. One day when I have my own house and have like the best sound system, maybe I'll open them.
Right, exactly.
But it's the problem though, because I bought South Park released this box set for Record Store Day, the special edition.
Awesome. Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's they they freaking released it. I bought it, and I as soon as I opened the stupid thing, I took the record out and I fucking dropped it. And now it's bump in the next two fucking the Canadian song or whatever the hell. It's like
Blame
Blame
Canada.
Canada.
Right.
Blame Canada.
during
Yeah,
Blame
so
Canada,
good.
in like the first minute. It lasts like 30 seconds, but it pissed me off, and I haven't listened to it since because I was every time I play it, I get angry.
Yeah. Damn. You still
Yeah,
have like the physical like thing though. That's so cool.
There's something cool about having the tangible copy because like
yeah, to hold it, to look at the artwork, like that's so like Spotify is one thing, you know, you can listen to things so easily, it's it's right there, but like having the album and looking at it and reading the notes and things like that is something so you know, authentic about it. So I was like,
Totally.
if we release this thing and we have vinyl and no one buys it, I don't care. I'll just look at the vinyl that we have. Oh, we have 17 copies left. I like looking at them all. So
yeah, exactly.
It's funny they say like the eternal debate between what sounds better, vinyl or streaming. And I don't think it's necessarily what sounds better. It's what's different. Because I just actually learned this recently. I didn't know that they create a separate master for the vinyl versions. They mix it and master it differently for vinyl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It affords you different, I don't know, frequency range or something like. I don't know the specifics on it, but
we were going to master this album ourselves that we're working on. But then Steve was like, "We're going to have to go get it mastered so they can do the vinyl process."
Because I
do vinyl, so
no idea how to master. No. I don't know what they do. But I thought that was a cool distinction because, like, it's either way with vinyl, you get a slightly different experience. Not only because it's more tactile, you see the freaking needle do some kind of black magic where it turns sound into a groove into sound. It's just so cool watching it. It's just like there's something about the analog experience I think is really cool. And
totally, it's so cool. Like listen to old records too, and be like there's no computers. You know, like every track, that take is like what you hear. Like you know, there's no laptops or Pro Tools or anything.
Good. And especially if you have a good. I'm actually looking at this preamp I might buy, which is I can't really justify the cost the purchase, but it's one of those things where like I might just do it anyway.
Yeah.
This is like I could save my money, but I could also have this sweet phono preamp. So if you get a nice phono preamp and get really high fidelity speakers, because I listen to M Audio Studio One, which sounds really good. So I think my next purchase to improve the sound even more is to get a phono preamp. Is this company? I don't know if they're German, but it's pronounced shit, but it's spelled. I swear to God, it's
what do they make?
Shit, we're shit. We make good stuff.
I'm gonna buy that.
They make record phono preamps, amplifiers, speakers, and shit like that. But it's
cool.
SCHIIT. It's just, and that's what they say. Yeah, we're going to be reviewing the shit preamp. I'm like, what?